Welcome back, everyone. I'm your congressman, your voice and your vote in Washington, D.C. Mark Alford with this week's Capitol Recap. Good to see you again. You know, this week marks our very first week back in D.C. from the August in-district work period. We had a good time there. Folks, let me tell you, it has been so busy. There are really three big items from this week's session. First, we introduced the Congressional Access to Bureaucratic Offices, the Cabo Act. Who doesn't like Cabo, right? Well, oversight of the executive branch is one of the core functions of us, Congress. But agencies have stymied us, refused us entry to like the USDA and the SBA. We've been thwarted at every turn for 6 months. Right now, even when members request meetings in and access to those buildings, the headquarters, they ignore us. They won't let us in. Our bill would change that.
I rise today to recognize our recently introduced legislation, the Congressional Access to Bureaucratic Offices, the Cabo Act. Oversight of the executive branch is one of the core functions of this very body, the U.S. House of Representatives. But agencies have continuously refused entries to members in this House. For 6 long months, we have been refused entry in the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Small Business Administration. I sit on the Ag Committee and the Committee of Small Business. This is unacceptable.
Next up, in the Small Business Committee, we passed our Rural SBA Performance Report Act out of committee unanimously. That means it's going to be headed to the floor now for final passage vote. This legislation will require 2 reports from the Small Business Administration so we actually know how the SBA is elevating rural small businesses. It's challenging enough to own and operate small businesses, and that is especially true for folks in rural America.
Look, small business owners face many, many challenges, as we all know, and that is especially true in rural areas. I was proud to have Jennifer Cassidy from our district come testify right there at that very desk right there back in July at our Small Business Committee hearing on rural entrepreneurship. And she really shared with us some of the challenges and other rural small business owners face in these tough times. When we asked the witnesses if they knew about the SBA's Office of Rural Affairs, they all told us, we've never heard of it.
And lastly, I'm sure all of you have seen, Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced that the House of Representatives will be launching a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. I've been pushing for it for a long time. House Republicans have uncovered serious and credible allegations into President Biden's conduct, really a culture of corruption. With the Speaker's announcement, the House of Representatives now has the full weight of the Constitution behind its investigation. Joe Biden's pattern of behavior is, well, it's disturbing. It's concerning for our national security. Biden has repeatedly been caught lying about critically important information, from millions in foreign payments and 10% cut for the big guy for the business interactions with Hunter Biden and his associates. Folks, we need those bank records. We need those phone logs. We will get the answers that you deserve.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to voice my strong support for the impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. House Republicans have uncovered serious and credible allegations into his conduct, a culture of corruption. We now know this to be true. The Biden family received more than $20 million in foreign payments from China, Russia, Ukraine, and Romania. That 10% cut for the big guy, well, yes, that was for Joe Biden. The Bidens created over 20-plus shell companies to conceal the money. Joe Biden joined 20 phone calls with Hunter Biden's business partners, texts invoking Biden to shake down a Chinese business partner for cash. Joe Biden using pseudonyms on emails and at least 150 suspicious activity reports. Joe Biden's pattern of behavior is deeply concerning for our national security.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Mr. Speaker, we need answers. We need those bank records. We need the truth.
And we finished up with some TV and radio interviews as well, being a strong conservative voice for you, as I promised to do on the campaign trail. So be sure to catch us next time that we're on.
He's Mark Alford.
Congressman Mark Alford.
Congressman Mark Alford.
Missouri Congressman Mark Alford.
Congressman Mark Alford.
My next guest wants to scrutinize not only the amount of money being spent in Ukraine,
but the desired outcome of what appears to be a long-term conflict at this point. Well, joining me now is Missouri Congressman Mark Alford, member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, I saw this and I was like, he's speaking my language.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah, we've got to have some clarity on what is the strategy, what is the end game in Ukraine. Last Congress, the 117th, they approved $113 billion for the war in Ukraine. Now, $67 billion of that goes to direct military assistance. Only $26 billion of that has been spent so far. And it's gone through three funnels, Carl. The Presidential Drawdown Authority, where we send them our Abrams tanks, our old equipment, sure, and then we replace that. That counts out of the budget there. The direct Ukraine assistance, money goes directly towards the Ukrainian for their military operation. And then the foreign military financing, where we replace NATO countries who have shipped their armaments in for the war effort there. The problem is now the President of the United States has come back several weeks ago and said, hey, we want $20.6 billion more. To me, that is unacceptable. Spend what you have first and then come back and ask for more. And Carl, to add insult to injury, he is playing off the emotions and the heartstrings of the American people after the fire that devastated Maui, and is trying to tie this additional funding to support for wildfire fighters and other efforts in Maui. And we're predicting that he's going to try to tie it to aid in Florida after the hurricane there. This is sick. It is sad. It is despicable.
Hey guys, I know this is called the Capitol Recap, but before we go, I want to touch on some of the awesome events that our staff and that we've been doing as a team during our August in-district work period. Check out some photos from our ag listening session at the State Fair, the first time ever that we brought it to the state of Missouri, a Purple Heart ceremony that we had the pleasure to be a part of, and our massive town hall tour. 12 stops. It was an awesome month in Missouri. Now it's time to get back to work here in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to say it again. It is an honor of a lifetime to be here, being your voice and your vote. We've got a lot of work to do. There is some dysfunction in Washington, D.C., but I'm determined to be a voice for reason, a voice for change, and a voice for you, most of all. Hang with us, folks. Have a good week. We'll catch you on the backside.